I'd like to now ask you to join me in giving a very warm welcome in a man who has dedicated his life in public service, seeking those aspirations and needs of others, and one who epitomizes the kind of leader who seeks to mold consensus. The 47th Lieutenant Governor of this great state of California, the Honorable Abel Maldenado.
Here I go, baby. Here I go, baby. Here I go, baby.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Please take a seat. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the Conservation Corps who's here today, who's seating you folks and who's just helping out. Thank you so much for all that you do for the people of the great state of California. And with the permission of some, I'm going to say just very few words in Spanish because there are folks here that only speak Spanish. My father is here and he speaks perfect broken English, but he will understand what I'm going to say. Para todos ustedes que han venido aquí a acompañarme a mí y a mi familia, le doy las gracias por venir aquí al Capitolio para darme y para acompañarme a mí en este momento tan especial, no nomás para mí, pero también para mi familia. Es que muchas gracias para todos ustedes, sinceramente, gracias. My fellow Californians, I stand before you today humbled, grateful and honored to serve you as your next Lieutenant Governor. I stand before you here to swear an oath to you, the people of California, that you will always be my top priority. Not finger pointing, not partisan fighting, not politics, just you. This is your seat. This is your government. And this is your future. But in defining our future and working together to rebuild California, we should first look toward our past. We can find wisdom and courage there, the kind that has all but disappeared from this building behind me. We must look toward the great leaders who shaped our state and our nation, leaders who stamped their mark on California's history. We must look to leaders like Ronald Reagan, Hiram Johnson, Earl Warren, and for me in particular, Romualdo Pacheco. 138 years ago, Romualdo Pacheco became the first Republican Hispanic Lieutenant Governor of California. I'm just the second, and I have a great mentor to follow and a great example to follow. Pacheco was a rogue. He was a maverick. He was a Democrat who became a Republican during the Civil War. Some folks would like it to be the other way around. He wasn't a prisoner of an ideology, and he wasn't afraid to put his principles always above his party. And to me, that's what we call courage. We call that leadership. To me, that is a true public servant. He was also a rancher. He was a farmer. He represented San Luis Obispo County in the California State Senate. In fact, my family owns today some of the land that Romualdo owned 140 years ago. So I'm tied to Romualdo through my heritage, through my culture, and obviously to the rich California soil that he farmed more than a century ago, that to this day still sustains my mom and my dad and my family. But my strongest bond to Mr. Pacheco was his commitment to every Californian. That was his bond. That is my bond to him. He has a history that I'm happy to share. And through him and others like him, and through our past, we find the strength and the inspiration to meet California's vast challenges and to define our future. I have found that strength. My future begins today. The words thank you can never begin to describe what I feel, how I feel, and my overwhelming appreciation to Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. The words thank you can never begin to describe my thank you to the legislative leaders of the Senate and the Assembly. I can never thank enough my colleagues of the legislature. They still call me senator. I feel like I'm still a senator. But I can share this with you. I can't thank Connie Conway, Assemblywoman Connie Conway, for being here with me today. She's always inspired me just to be a Californian. And to Ted Lieu, Assemblyman Lieu, he's an amazing young man who works in this building every single day, not worry about who gets the credit, just working hard to make a difference for all Californians. So thank you so much for being here, you both. So to all of you, thank you, the people of California. That's what's important to me. It's really the people. Thank you for the support and the trust you've put in me. I promise that I will justify the faith that you've put in me every single day that I work in this building. So I think the question on a lot of people's minds today is now what? I've been confirmed. California finally has a lieutenant governor. Now what? Unfortunately, in this economy, we hear that phrase all too often. I've lost my job. Now what? I've lost my home. Now what? Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a time of grave uncertainty. What is the stock market going to do? Will my job still be there tomorrow? Will we have enough money to pay our bills? We're all worried. We're all very worried. There is a crisis of confidence in our state. And at a time when many of us are looking for government for leadership, we see the same senseless fighting that sometimes goes on. The partisanship, the gridlock, and the dysfunction that has helped bring my state to its knees. Now what? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you what. Now the real work begins and the California renewal begins. It won't be easy, but that has never stopped California. Unemployment is at 12%. Our deficit, $20 billion. We might even owe $500 billion in pensions. The meaning of these numbers are clear. Today, we are a state on the brink, but it is not a time for fear. This is not a time to be limping into Sacramento or chipping away at the edges of our problems. This is a time for leadership. It is a time for everyone to pull together in the same direction and to keep that California renaissance. California is not too big to fail, but it is too great to fail. We cannot let it fail. We will not let California fail. We owe it to the men and women who've paved the way for prosperity. We owe it to the people like my dad, who came here with nothing and built California up with his values, hard work, and his determination. We owe it to the children who deserve the same opportunity that their parents had. In times of leadership, and in these times, leadership is not an option. Leadership is a responsibility. Make no mistake, today's challenges are stark, but in a way, we're kind of lucky. We really are, because we have a long list of problems, but we really only need one solution. It's called economic recovery. Now is the time to commit ourselves as elected officials, residents of this great state, to work together toward one common goal, turning California back to that job-creating powerhouse that drew people from around the world to our shores. These just can't be buzzwords, my friends. They have to reflect a real set of life goals, reasonable, pragmatic, and tangible solutions. My friends, podium politicians and platitudes and campaign promises will never get us back to work. So when the question is asked, now what? The answer must be create jobs. Jobs, jobs, and more jobs.